everybody. Welcome to Rock N Brews. Aren't you fired up to be here? But wait, welcome in the Coach DeBesse show. And we're fired up. We're going to have our DNA players as always. Got a very special guest with us this week. I actually just met her, and she's already one of my favorite people in the world. Miss Jane Rose is here. From what I can tell, Grapevine royalty. And so we'll talk to her about the work that she does, also homecoming that's coming up in a couple of weeks. But without further ado, we'll welcome in the head coach of your Grapevine Mustangs, Coach Bob DeBesse.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Coach, let's talk a little bit just about last week. If you kind of want to do a state of where the team's at. I know it's difficult to kind of look back at times, but take us through what you saw on Friday night.
Well, what I saw on Friday night, first and foremost, was a defense that I think personally may have played their best game of the year. And the reason I say that is just because of how resilient they were and how many times they came up with big plays and big stops. And, we Burleson went on a 19-play drive that started at like midfield. And we ended up blocking a field goal, so they ended up getting nothing from that. And so I thought our defense played relentless and resilient all night long. For the first time in several weeks, I thought our special teams were a positive for us. We had a couple of big returns in the kicking game and again, the blocked field goal, blocked extra point, stopped extra point. And so those areas, we played good enough to win. I told the kids this morning that Friday night was probably my low point, probably my most disappointing this year, because unfortunately we had a side of the ball that didn't do anything. I mean, it's just, you call it like it is. We did not do anything to help the Mustangs win the football game, and credit Burleson for that, but obviously, we have to do a better job as coaches. I have to do a better job, and we got to do a better job as players, because that was completely unacceptable, and particularly given the fact that it was a 9-0 ball game. Our defense gave up 9 points.
Yeah, the defense clearly played well enough to win. And as you look back at the last couple of weeks, some of the defenses really stood out. But what do you feel like, despite the challenges in the win column, what's been the positives that you've seen over the past couple of weeks as you do go into this bye week?
The positives are walking in every morning and seeing the kids. I mean, that's the positive, because I gauge it. We meet as a staff before practice, and so the kids are trickling in as we're meeting, and so we can hear them through the walls into the staff room. And as long as there's laughter and as long as there's guys getting after each other and giving each other a hard time and glad to see each other and greeting each other, then everything's okay. And so the kids make everything okay for me. I just desperately hope for them that sooner rather than later, we can have something tangible to hang our hats on, and that means something in the win column.
Yeah, before we move ahead to these DNA players, what are maybe some examples of a player or players that you feel like have really showed that leadership during this time? It's obviously tough, to start the year like this, but what players have you noticed that have been the ones that have sort of led that charge?
Well, and I'm not saying this just because they're here, but if you just look over here to my left, you've got a collection of kids that have done that. I was commenting. We had a recruiter come by today that was asking about a couple of our kids, and one of them happened to be Tatum Evans, and I was telling him how proud I've been of Tatum. The fact that he was elected captain as a junior says a lot about him. But I've noticed Tatum over the last month or so really come out of himself, get out of himself and into the team, and reach out to guys that maybe he wouldn't normally reach out to. That makes a big difference, especially when you're struggling. I see guys like Cooper Towery and Bradley Stanier who bounce from position to position to position, don't ask questions, don't ask why, don't complain, they just do it. Brady Boozer is constantly telling us on the sideline and telling the players on the sideline he's ready to go in on offense. He's not tired. He's ready to go in and do whatever he needs to do. So, again, they're all over here to my left, but there's a reason they're over here to my left. These are some of the best leaders we have in the program.
Well, appreciate it. Why don't we talk to some of those leaders now as we'll get to our DNA Players of the Week. Thank you very much for that, Coach DeBesse. We're going to start. I made the joke last week that he's basically a co-host of the show. So Bradley Stanier, come on up as he gets the Attitude Award this week from the DNA Players. And I think that's a great place to start because the Attitude Award seems pretty important right now. For you as a leader on this team, not having the success in the win column, how important is that attitude, and how do you make sure that you're portraying the right attitude to your teammates?
I think it just matters a lot because I got to be able to be there to pick up my teammates whenever they're feeling down because, I mean, having the record that we have, not everybody's going to have the best attitude. Right. And just being able to be there and just uplift them, I think it helps us perform a little better. What's
it like for you personally, especially the last 2 weeks that have been really hard-fought games and down to the wire? How long does it take you to kind of move on, or what's it like for you after that Friday going into Saturday as you start moving forward? What's the mentality like for you?
I mean, after the game, of course, I'm hurting since they've both been losses, sadly. But I like to look on the positive side. I like to think I've done my best and that my teammates have done their best. Come in Saturday morning, look at film, and that's that. Move on to the next week.
And tell us what you feel like it is, what it means to be a part of the leadership group. Some of these guys have been here over and over and over. Those are the leaders of the team.
Yep.
What's it mean to you to be a part of that group?
I mean, it's all I've wanted through high school. I mean, I asked Coach DeBesse, I think last year, coming in as a junior. I mean, I know I wouldn't be a huge leader on the team, but it's something that I really wanted for a long time, and I'm just really proud that I can be one of those leaders.
Let's make some noise for Bradley Stanier here, once again winning the Attitude Award this week. Thank you, Brad. Let's hear from Brady Boozer, another name that Coach DeBesse just mentioned. That's a tough corner right there, so be careful as you walk up here. Bradley, winning the Compete Award, so congratulations on that. And I think your coach kind of highlighted your competitive juice because you always want to be out there on offense. So what are those conversations like when you're telling everyone, I'm not tired, I can go out there and contribute?
I kind of just poke at Coach Wash and Coach Nash, telling them that I'm right behind them on the sideline, telling them to put me in, asking if they need a play, I can go in for them.
What's the strategy? Are you just staying next to them? Or are you being loud and kind of?
You stand next to them and kind of pester them a bit. Okay. You tap them on the shoulder enough, they start looking over.
Yeah. I like it. Well, so tell us here in a game where you guys battle defensively, you lose a tough one, 9-0. You win the Compete Award. What did you feel like you did to compete this week?
Just going out there and not giving up. Obviously, like Coach DeBesse said, we had a 19-play drive on defense, and after about 2 or 3 plays, you're pretty worn out. Yeah. So being able to stay through that, just competing the whole time, competing the entire game, just trying to fight for the team and get a win.
Take us through how hard it is in a 19-play drive defensively. You did end up holding them from scoring, but how difficult is that in the midst of it to get your win and keep going?
It's pretty difficult. You got to really stay focused and locked in, especially with all the flags, penalties, timeouts, and stuff that happened on that drive. It was just an extremely dragging drive, but just being able to stay locked in and focus on stopping them.
Let's hear it for Brady Boozer as he wins the Compete Award this week. We'll bring up Cedric Hicks, who is our Family DNA Award winner this week. Cedric, part of that defensive line, playing tough on Friday. Just how do you feel like you're continuing to grow? I feel like I ask you that when you're here, but as you get into your sophomore season, correct? Halfway through or more than halfway through, where do you feel like is the biggest growth for you right now?
I honestly feel like my biggest growth has been working together with my teammates, like learning the scheme, being more of a leader, and being there for my team.
If I'm not mistaken, you got the hand on the blocked field goal, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So take us through that, just schematically, how you were able to make that happen, because I know it's not just you.
No, I was just trying to make a hole for Tatum. I don't know how.
Which historically has worked.
Yeah, I just jumped. I didn't think I would get there, but I was.
So to be a part of this group and you win that family award, just talk to us a little bit, especially in a tough season, the importance of sticking together as a family.
Honestly, you just need to be there for each other. You need to stay together. You can't have arguments. You can't have fights. You need to be there and respect each other, love each other.
Well, that's Cedric Higgs. Let's make some noise for Cedric. Thank you very much. Outstanding job on Friday. We'll bring up Jack Cochran as well, as Jack wins the Discipline Award. So welcome in, Jack. First time we've had a chance, or at least I've had a chance to talk with you. So winning that discipline award, what does that mean to you?
It's just every play you get in, going 100% all the time.
So how do you make sure that not only are you doing that, but you're portraying that that's kind of the expectation for the rest of the team as well?
Just lifting everybody up, on the field, on the sidelines, just having that attitude of, not 99, not even 50, just 100% all the time.
Is that something, how did that get instilled in you, wanting to go 100% all the time? How did you learn to do that?
Just over time, overcoming challenges that have,
I guess a better way to ask it would be like, who instilled that in you? Is there someone that is the one that pushed you to be like, give 100 every time?
Definitely Coach DeBesse and Coach Sanchez.
What do they do to make sure that you're doing that?
In practice, they're always, especially Coach Sanchez, they're always telling me, they're kind of like hard on me, so I'm always
in a good way.
hard. Yeah, yes,
in a good way. Let's give it up for Jack as he wins the discipline award. Tatum, if you want to come on up for the toughness award today, let's give it up for Tatum Evans as he makes his way in. Well, congratulations on the award. What did it mean to show toughness this week?
Yeah, I think that 19-play drive kind of, is the epitome of what toughness is in a game like that when it's a close game and, every snap you got to give it 100%, kind of like Jack said. Yeah,
and we were also talking to, Cedric about that drive, and what are you doing during a 19-play drive to make sure that you're rejuvenated, you're ready to go, and you're not letting anything slip?
I mean, kind of previously in the season, I really felt those long drives. I was tired. But to be honest, in this game, I didn't really notice it. My mind, I was just kind of focused on my job, and it just kind of went by really fast, and obviously we did our job on the field.
Well, Tatum, appreciate it. Congratulations on another award, as there's Tatum Evans. And finally, we'll bring up Cooper Towery for our fight award. Come on in, Cooper. Why do you feel like as you look at these awards, and maybe you can easily assess the other guys and why they won their awards, why do you feel like you won the fight award this week?
Not much to it, just keep fighting. It got towards the fourth quarter, last few plays, the referees telling us, hey, take it easy, it's the last few seconds, but we don't stop until the whistle blows, so.
Yeah, the last 30 seconds or so took about 15 minutes, it felt like, and a lot of that might have been that fight that you guys were showing. So what mentality does that say about the team?
I'd say it's every day at practice. You wake up early, you get there, and you have to fight knowing you're going into war Friday nights, have to win every snap.
Yeah. Well, Cooper, we appreciate it, showing that fight. Let's give it up for Cooper Towery. Well, those are our DNA Award winners, and I will bring Coach DeBesse up as we will introduce our...
The fact that Cooper's got those pants on, he should have won the Tough Award, right?
The Sleepy Award. Coach, you want to introduce our special guest today?
Yes, I would. So, as all of you know, Grapevine High School has a lot of stars, but we've got a superstar here, okay? We've got the superstar here. Miss Jane Rose is... Yeah, let's give her a hand. Let's give her a hand. Is an English teacher by trade, but anything having to do with student leadership, student council, in particular, because of the time of the year, homecoming, okay, Jane Rose is involved. So not much happens at Grapevine High School without Jane Rose's fingerprints on it, and we are thrilled that she's here tonight. So let's welcome Jane Rose.
I take it. Wow.
You take it.
I do.
Well, come on in, Mrs. Rose.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. How long at Grapevine has it been?
21 years.
21 years.
Since before the young men were born.
That's that's worth something, right?
Yes.
21 years. Tell us why this is. I mean, a lot of movement around in education. Why have you dug your roots here?
Well, first of all, we live in the area. My husband and our children are K-12 GCISD kids. They did go to Colleyville Heritage, but we will forgive them, won't we? This is just a great place to live and work. And years ago, I bought into the myth of Grapevine High School. I had a principal, a former principal, who used to say, it's not like this everywhere, and he was so right. Grapevine High School is special. The kids are great. Their parents are great. Tatum is my student. I don't see any other ones here tonight, but I teach a lot of varsity athletes this year, and we know it's hard this year. I tell them, I said, I have lived through an 0-10 season and a 1-9 season at Grapevine, but no matter what, we're still Mustangs. We get up every day and be Grapevine High School Mustangs. And I drove by the water tower, and guess what? The Mustang's still on it. And that's what we do.
Run through a wall over here.
That's what we do.
I love it. Yeah, you've been in this community for a very long time, and you mentioned that you have some of these players in class. And I worked a lot with college athletes, and I know that when you get into the working world, that those athletes are ones that a lot of organizations want. What do you see from some athletes, and you can use Tatum if you want as an example, but what do you see from some of these athletes that really makes it such a joy to work with them every day?
The skills that they hone on any athletic field. My kids were swimmers. My husband's a distance runner and a cyclist, and I was a swimmer. But those skills that you learn, you get up, you go when it's hard, you go when it's cold, you go when it's hot, you show up when you lose, you show up when you win, and then they learn how to write essays. This is hard. This is hard, Mrs. Rose, I know, but it is not the hardest thing you're going to do. So just showing up for each other, just doing the hard work, and knowing I never want a kid to peak in high school, ever, never. So this is just a step on the way for very illustrious careers for them.
I want to talk homecoming in just a second,
Yes.
but I want to just talk about just Grapevine. Just what are the things about your job and the things that you do every day that bring you the most joy? Like, what is it that when you get up every day, you're thinking, I can't wait to go and I get to do this with my students?
You know, it's tough being an educator out there right now, but it's my kids, my colleagues, and my content that it's always driven me. I love being an English teacher. The things that we do in English are what people are going to do for the rest of their lives. Look people in the eye, shake their hands, talk to them, and be honest. So my content has always meant a lot to me. My colleagues, the greatest people I've ever known have been in education, and I love them. I'm kind of aging out right now because I'm losing a lot of colleagues right now, but I still have great ones coming up, and I feel a tremendous responsibility to raise them right. And then our students. You know, a bad day at Grapevine is still a very good day anywhere else. And the narrative around public education has been false for a couple of years. We are Grapevine. We've always done it right, and we'll continue to do it right. So don't believe everything you read in the newspapers and hear on social media. We're great at Grapevine.
I think you're the first guest to get 4 applause breaks. That's pretty
4?
impressive.
Woo.
There's 4 of them there.
I can come back next week, too, if you need.
We need you. Maybe you can host this thing
Oh,
next
yeah.
week. It'd be great. Let's talk homecoming.
Yes.
And I know you're excited next week. So the bye week this week, then
Yes.
homecoming. I know you have some of your students that
I
are here.
do.
I'm going to turn it over to you and talk Grapevine homecoming.
That's great. I'm very excited to do Grapevine High School homecoming. As you know, it's different at Grapevine High School for homecoming. We have a long-standing tradition. I think my shirt says we were established in 1906. So we've got a lot of homecoming, and we have a parade down Main Street. It's just like Mayberry still, where we get to throw candy and have fun times. But I couldn't do it without my kids, and so if Hazel Tom and Annalie Litton will come, they are co-chairs for homecoming this year. They are 2-year members of what I like to call my highly selective leadership class, and it truly is highly selective. Got about 50-odd kids who apply, and these 2 are 2-year members, and they're our co-chairs. You really did leave. Okay, well then, we wanted to talk about the homecoming court, the dance, and the parade. Can you guys handle all that? All right, take it away.
Okay, so our first event of next week is the homecoming parade, which all of you are invited to and should show up for. It is at 6 p.m. on August 16th over on Main Street. You'll see a lot of alumni, a lot of our organizations will be on floats, walking. You'll see your Phillies, your band. So you should definitely show up. It'll be around 30 minutes. Everyone will walk the street. We'll also have the game that Friday that you should all show up for. Obviously, our team will be playing. So we want to get a win in that column. It'll be great. And we will announce the court that night as well. The court was announced on Friday. So we have 4 senior king and 4 senior queen nominees, as well as a prince and princess from each grade. And so do you want to explain something?
Oh, yes. So, but before we go into that, I just want to break down all the theme days we have. So Monday, we have no school, but then, oh yeah, the theme for homecoming is a night in Paris. Okay, so theme days. So Tuesday is Tourist Tuesday, where we wear our tackiest tourist outfits. And then Wednesday is Starry Night Wednesday. PJs, everyone show up in PJs. School appropriate. And then Thursday we have City of Love. Show up in red and pinks, everything love coded, everything Paris. And then finally Friday is Dress Your Best, also known as Haute Couture. Dress chic.
It will be a great week of lots of Grapevine fun, lots of school spirit, so we encourage all of our students to dress up. And parents, you are, of course, welcome to come to the pep rally on Friday morning. The homecoming court will be announced. Our football team will get to talk. It's always a really fun time. And you'll see all the mums, all the Grapevine gear, all red, white, and blue, which happens to be the French colors as well. So it works out for both our theme and Grapevines this year. So it'll be a great morning. And if you are an alumni of Grapevine, we welcome you to come to the alumni tea that morning following the pep rally. It'll be in the library. Cheers having their 100th anniversary as well. And so there'll be lots of alumni coming into town, all sharing stories and talking about Grapevine's history. So it'll be a really fun morning. And we'll kind of wrap up the homecoming week with not only the game that night, where our court will be announced up on the field during halftime after our Phillies perform, but also that Saturday night, our dance will occur. And we have around 1,000 students every year show up to this dance, so tickets are on sale now, students, if you're wondering. You
can buy tickets for $10.
$10 only. So, and that will kind of wrap up our week of Grapevine's homecoming.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Y'all are good to go? Yeah, thank you so much. Anything else you want to add to that?
Go Mustangs.
Go Mustangs, indeed.
matter
Perfect
what.
way to end it.
Yep.
Give it up for Miss Rose.
Let's get started with our highlights. This is actually the opening kickoff. And so you'll see Brady Boozer here catching about the 21. We had a middle return set up. Gives us great field position in Burleson territory right here. So great job by Brady, obviously. But anytime this happens and anytime you see the big gash in the middle here, obviously some kids do a really good job of single blocking and double team blocking, and you can see the crease right there open up, okay? And that's how it's designed, and Brady did a good job of finding it there and trusting his blockers, and like I said, setting up our offense in really good position for the opening drive. All right, first play of the game for Burleson, and this was a sign of things to come. We definitely controlled the line of scrimmage on defense without question, and you can see a good example of it right there. Bradley Stanier played nose guard a good part of the night. He had not played nose guard much, if any, all year long, and this was kind of the story of the night right there. Bradley had 5 tackles for loss, 5 tackles for loss from the nose guard position. Tatum Evans down here on the bottom, battling with the left tackle, being a part of the tackle. Luke Keck stepping in, being a part of the tackle. Cooper Towery being a part of the tackle. You can see Brady coming from the middle there. So once again, just like how our defense, I think, has played the vast majority of the year, a lot of hustle, a lot of gang tackling, a lot of working with each other. 2nd and 16. After the loss, they come out with a screen. Watch how Cedric and Bradley both Tatum and Bradley both redirect, especially Bradley right there. He realizes that anytime you're a defensive lineman and you penetrate that quickly, you beat the lineman that quickly, there's a pretty good chance it's a screen. And so good redirect right there, and a great job again of gang tackling, holding them to about a 5-yard gain to put them in a long yardage type situation, okay? Luke again with the tackle, and Bradley coming in over the top. We got a 3rd and 1 here. We stopped them on that drive, made a punt. We got a 3rd and 1. Burleson goes for it in our territory. Again, I want you to just look at the white shirts compared to the black shirts and how they're penetrating the line of scrimmage right there. There's absolutely nowhere for that ball carrier to go. So not only does it set up a 4th down, but it sets up a 4th and longer than 3rd and 1. That's about a 4th and 2, 4th and 3 now. Now it becomes really dicey if you want to go for it at that part of the field, okay? So great job by our defense of stoning the offensive line of Burleson right there. Cedric from the right side of your screen right there, beating the tackle inside, giving the back nowhere to go. Going to be a lot of defensive highlights, folks. Unfortunately, not as many on the other side, but but our defense played their tails off. Again, just being disruptive in the middle. Watch how it makes the quarterback bow back. I think that quarterback's a heck of a player. He's just a sophomore. He's going to be a really good player when it's all said and done. But we make him bow back enough to where he's got to redirect, and Luke Hecht is out there on the perimeter making a really good tackle, solo tackle, but he had some help. He had some help coming. Cooper's coming. Brady's coming. Okay, but Luke holds on and does a nice job on the outside. So we didn't have Michael Utorka. He was out. He was injured, couldn't play. We got Luke Gormley back, but it still forced Cooper to move back inside, which meant that Luke Hecht played some more on the outside, did a nice job for us. All right, now they did this quite a bit, and I put this on there just for a football 101 thing right here. When you see something like this successful, and I would consider this to be a successful play for Burleson, when you see something like that successful, it's because we've given up our leverage. Watch our corner here. Our corner is taught to stay outside, keep outside leverage, and force everything back inside to his help. And you can see our corner makes a mistake of jumping inside here, and it puts our defense in a heck of a bind. We lose gap integrity, and now Carlos McKay's got to come over and from the deep safety spot and make a play. So we defended that really well most of the night, but just educating you is sometimes why it doesn't go. That's usually the reason. Okay. 3rd and 2. Awfully tough down here to keep a team from getting across the goal line. We do a great job of stringing things out right here. Thomas Powers did a really good job all night long of setting the edge. And when you set the edge, you may not make the tackle. You may not be in the tackle chart, but you're setting it up for your other guys. You're setting it up for your teammates who are filling inside there. This is a hold, I believe, Cedric, if I'm correct. You can see Cedric getting held from the left end spot right there. But Thomas setting the edge. Brady in there ready to make a play. Cooper coming from the inside once again to make a play. Okay, Thomas does get in on the play late. So a really good job from the 2-yard line of keeping them out. Plus they ended up getting a penalty, which backed them up, which led to this. Okay, so we kept him out of the end zone. And there's Cedric going up. And trying to open things up for Bradley, but Cedric ends up getting the block right here. So Tatum had a couple last week. Cedric's got one. But once again, to me, as a coach, that shows a lot of character on the part of our football team right there, particularly our defense, for playing that hard on a field goal attempt. It'd be real easy to say, well, it's a chip shot, it's a gimme, and they didn't. One of these days, we're going to get a scoop and score. One of these days, the ball's going to bounce our way. It's going to bounce to the outside. That's why these guys are outside to pick the ball up and scoop and score just in case it does bounce out there. That's going to happen one of these days. Okay. This is called a scramble right here at 2nd and 5. This is called a scramble right here. But really, it's just hellacious pressure. Bradley actually pushes the center back into the quarterback's lap right here off of the play action fake. This is an RPO, a run pass option right there. He actually pushes him back into the quarterback, knocks the ball down, or knocks it around anyway. And the quarterback has no choice but to try to scramble. And then we got a bunch of white shirts converging right here. Watch the view from the backside here. Watch the center right into the quarterback's lap right here. Okay, pretty good job down here of not giving the quarterback anywhere to throw. This is Luke, and this is Dallas Davis down here. This is a 3rd and 4, so it should be a fairly easy throw. But again, a lot of white shirts getting positive push for the Mustangs into the backfield, putting a little pressure on the quarterback, and he just overthrows it just a little bit. All right, you're going to see this play, almost a carbon copy 2 times in a row. Our defensive linemen are taught when a lineman pulls, you follow him because that lineman is taking you to where the ball is trying to go, okay? So this is an outside zone, maybe a power type read. Maybe the quarterback's reading it, I don't know. But you can see Cedric latched on with that center right there, literally holding on to him, going for a ride right there. And then we've got Thomas again setting the edge up top. We got Brady, we got Cooper, we've got Bradley, we've got everybody coming over the top. But it all happens because somebody sets the edge. Okay, you hear Coach Wheeler yelling a lot, set the edge, you got a hard spot. This is what we're talking about here. That ball gets outside, we're in big time trouble right there. We're in big time trouble right there if that ball gets outside. So again, guys doing their job, not necessarily appearing in the stat page, but guys doing their job. This is basically the same thing right here. Okay, watch Cedric again. And literally he's grabbing that center. Literally he's grabbing the center right there. Okay, he's grabbing him to keep the center from where he wants to go, to keep him off of our defenders, but it's also slingshotting him to the ball carrier right there. So again, almost a carbon copy right there. This time the quarterback pulls the ball, but there's absolutely nowhere to go. We definitely controlled the line of scrimmage on defense and did a heck of a job all night. We are going to have a play coming up here, and this isn't it, but I'll show you a play where the quarterback got the best of us a little bit. He's a really, really good player. All right, again, screen, good pressure off the edge by Luke. Good job of deciphering by Cooper. Okay, so you see Luke coming off the edge, okay, making him get rid of it, kind of in a hurry right there, but still making a decent throw. They've got blockers out in front, but Cooper deciphers it too early, too quickly for the lineman, and it ends up to be a negative play. So 3rd and 9 becomes 3rd and 11 right there. And that means a lot as far as them going for it on 4th down or a chance to try to kick try to kick a field goal. Okay, so here is the 4th and 11 right here. This is the first drive of the second half. And this is Brady Boozer almost coming up with a takeaway right there. One thing our defense has to do, they have to create a few more turnovers for us, especially with our offense. We need to give our offense some short fields, try to make it a little bit easier for them. And that would have been nice right there. But anyway, a good job of the defense getting off the field. That's just like a takeaway right there because we turned the ball over on 4th down. All right, now, I put this on there because I believe in equal opportunity, and when we do make mistakes, this time we don't set the edge. This time we lose the edge, and the quarterback's able to get outside. He's able to get his foot in the ground and crease us a little bit. And I put this on there only to show you that everybody's got players, man. Everybody's got players. I think this kid from Burleson, like I told you earlier, he's a sophomore. I think he runs really well. I think he's got good football savvy. I think he's going to be a heck of a player. But I want you to see the effort by our guys. Okay. You got Brady, you got Linnell, you got Carlos right there. And who knows? Who knows what can happen right there. It was a 9-0, it was a 0-0, I think, at this point. Who knows what can happen the way our defense is playing. We could stop them right there. and not allow a big play. So give credit to them. They did generate that big play. That's really all they had all night long as far as the rushing game was concerned. Really a good job. Again, I think a really good job of a defensive call right here. This is 2nd and 12. You've seen a lot of pictures of, 4 and 5 man rush in the white shirts. Now we got a 3-man rush and we're dropping 8. Okay, we're dropping 8. That's awfully difficult for a quarterback to find any kind of crease, any kind of opening, any kind of window when you're dropping 8 defenders to the pass. And you can see how difficult this throw is right here, trying to get it over Luke and in front of Dallas right there. So 2nd and 12 all of a sudden becomes 3rd and 12 with them backed up against their goal line right there, and things are looking good for the Mustangs. Okay? Now, here's another really good job. We do a great job right here. I mean, corner plays it outside. This is just a really good job by an opponent right here. Now we do get a block in the back. Cedric is definitely blocked in the back right there. It was missed. Could have been called, should have been called. It wasn't. But a really good job of the kid making us miss. We've done a so much better job on defense the last 2 weeks of tackling. Things are going to happen. Teams are going to make plays. They've got really good kids too. But again, great effort by our kids of finally bottling them up and kind of minimizing the damage. What could have been a disaster right there ended up to be a really good hustle play by a bunch of our kids. You can see Cedric right here from the nose guard spot right there gets blocked in the back. Should have been a call. It wasn't. That happens. All right. The only touchdown of the game, and once again, bad eyes, right? Watch our corner down here. Our corner's paying no attention to the receiver right here. His eyes are in the backfield. He sees the quarterback stop as if it's a quick game drop right there. Okay, his eyes are on the quarterback, not on his target, not on his luggage right there, as we say. And that's all it takes. That's all it takes. And again, this is the only touchdown that we gave up all night long. And so overall, fantastic effort by our guys. They're up right now 9-0. So instead of kicking the extra point, they try a little trickery right here, and they try a quick quarterback sneak. And I believe it's Luke Gormley that steps up amongst others and create a big stop. And that was a huge play because that still gave our offense, it still gave our team life. A touchdown and a field goal wins it. And there was enough time to get that done. This is the best play of the night offensively. This is a 10-yard gain right here. Okay, so this is the best play of the night. This was a check by Jalen. We still don't block it exactly right. We end up pitching off of 2 guys. We should be pitching off the end man on the line of scrimmage here, not the defensive tackle that's penetrating. Jaime Sanchez does a good job leading the way. Julian tucks it up. 10-yard gain, and that was really the highlight for the night for the offense as far as yardage was concerned. Just could not get anything generated. So congratulations and celebrate the guys that didn't, and we're going to try to bring the guys back that maybe had a tough night.
Well, Coach DeBesse, as always, appreciate you taking the time to go through the film with us. And it's a little bit of a different week. You got the bye week this week, so tell us what changes this week, and then what are you really wanting to accomplish over the next however many days until next Friday?
Changes started this morning. We did not practice this morning. We watched the Burleson tape. We talked, and we took our team picture this morning. Tomorrow we'll go out in helmets. Wednesday we'll go out in shells. Thursday we'll go out in pads, and we'll go out in pads mainly because we want to have a little bit of a competition of offense, defense, a mini bowl game with our younger guys, kind of rest the older guys a little bit. We got to get refreshed. We got to get healthy, and we got to improve. I mean, there's never a time during the season you don't have an opportunity to improve, and that's our goal. You know, one thing that hit me over the weekend that I really hadn't really thought of, and I'm speaking about guys over here that play a lot of snaps. Grapevine for the last 5 or 6 years has been used to starters playing about half of the game, maybe just a little bit into the third quarter for easily the last half of the season. And so there wasn't as much wear and tear on those guys as there is these guys right now, because they're having to play the whole game because of the competition. So we've got to be really careful as coaches that by next Friday night, by October the 18th, they're as fresh mentally, as fresh physically as they can possibly be. We won't even talk about the Colony until probably Thursday. We'll just focus on the Mustangs for the next 2 days.
Well, we won't talk about them here either because next Friday is the next game. Home game for the Mustangs. It is Homecoming 2024, so make sure you are here. And then our next coaches show will not be until Monday, October 21st at Feed Store Barbecue. Can we make some noise for Rock N Brews for how awesome they were for us tonight? Thank you so much. Thank you to Coach DeBesse. Thank you, Miss Rose, and all of our guests. We'll see you next Friday for Homecoming. Let's go Mustangs.